The regular season wrapped up and the playoffs got underway. Who is still alive as we march towards the championship? Stick around to find out. Welcome, everyone. This is Inside the APL. Also today, Team Canada GM Phil Ionati joins me to discuss preparations for the squad's third ever international friendly against the U.S., which is rapidly approaching. That's coming up in just a bit. APL highlights are on the agenda first, though. And last weekend saw the final slate of regular season games conclude. Portugal and Serbia squared off on Saturday. And with both squads guaranteed a berth in the playoffs, they were simply looking to finish strong and enter the postseason on a high. Portugal finished the regular season second in the standings behind Croatia, and they draw first blood. Matthew Santos lays it off for Nick Machado. And boom, deflection right there. 1-0 Portugal. That was actually all the scoring in the first half. Serbs even it up in the second. The keeper makes the initial stop here. Filip Vlasovic will pounce and put home the rebound. And it's all knotted up at 1 apiece. And then Zoran Pesic spies a tiny little opening on the short side. He threads the needle. And Serbia goes up 2-1. Portugal responds, though. Sean Couto, as he shakes off his man, picks the corner, and they were all tied at 2 apiece. Then one of the plays of the week, Miroslav Jovanovic slices through the Portuguese, and he lays it back for Vlasovic, who makes a sweet little move himself right there and finishes. Serbs back on top, 3-2. Then some confusion as Dylan McAuliffe appears to hear a whistle from the other field, so he picks up the ball. Oops. Wrong whistle, can't do that. Penalty kick. Branislav Vukovanovic will slam it home. Serbs with some insurance, they lead 4-2. Portugal gets one back as Stavros Badunjas plays the bank shot off Vlasovic right there to draw them back within a single goal. But with the keeper out, as they were pressing for an equalizer, the Serbs steal, and yeah, they put this baby to bed as the ball dribbles in. A little tune-up for each team in their last regular season game. The Serbs double up the Portuguese for the 6-3 win. Caribbean Stars taking on Croatia. Pick it up in the first half with the Stars down 2-0. Matthew Rios intercepts, but then gives it right back to Sajer Reed. Wrong guy to give it to. The Stars cut the deficit to 2-1. Soon after, Paul Antoine, he will tee it up, and it takes a wicked deflection off the Croatian player. In it goes, all knotted up, 2-2. Then sweet passing by the Stars. Antoine to Rohan Ricketts, back to Reed. He slots it home. Caribbean goes in front for the first time. 3-2. It was 3-3 when Ricketts goes to Eddie De Beer. He picks the corner. Caribbean up 4-3. Second half now. Shaq Agard uses the boards to get it to Sajer Reed. He scores, and the Stars go up 5-4. And I'll tell you, Reed had a game. He pounces on the miscue here. Saja finished the season with 24 goals, good for 3rd overall in the APL, and you can see why in this game. The Croatian keeper caught way too far back in his net here. Doesn't take much for Tristan Gale to get it by him. And then Croatia taking chances late as they try to equalize. Not happening, though. The ball ricochets all the way back. And then eventually it's an easy little tap in for the Stars as they add some extra insurance. And of course, Reed would add one more as he will one time at home coming up right here. I'll tell you, Caribbean looking good as they head into the playoffs. They knock off first place Croatia AC, and they hold off the Croats to grab the 9-7 win. So let's just take a quick look at how the regular season standings finished up. Croatia wins the regular season title with 40 points, followed by Portugal. The Caribbean Stars, the Serbs had 27. Ukraine actually made it into the playoffs on the last day of the regular season with a win. They had 22, followed by South America. Italy, unfortunately, misses the playoffs with 18 points.
Rosario with the lightning bolts.
Hey folks, welcome back to Inside the APL. Joining me now is Canada National Team General Manager Phil Ionati, and to talk about some exciting stuff, including the upcoming Canada-USA game. Phil, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks, Al. It's good to see you again.
All right, let's talk about, well, first of all, obviously, I'm going to guess you were a pretty happy man back on March 15th, our first ever arena soccer win from a national team perspective against Brazil, of all teams, of course, a global powerhouse. Just talk about the game and how happy you were with what you saw.
You know what, Alex? It's been leaps and bounds from our players, our coaching staff, and just the game itself. You know, the game started off great. We got the first goal. Boys looked confident. Then some, again, mistakes defensively that we have to work on. Obviously, that comes with more and more experience, but the boys in the third quarter came out fighting, and we took a big lead right into the fourth, where obviously Brazil is always a team that you have to be guarded. That's the arena game. It can just turn on you in the second, and all of a sudden being up 9-5 to 9-9 going overtime. You got the Cinderella ending where you know, the big man scores in overtime to hit a top corner shot, which is ironic because I was talking the day before of, hey, listen, you know, on the free kicks, get this position, far corner, top corner, and his comment was, hey, I get it done in the game, and did he ever? So
are you taking partial credit for the big goal then? Is that what you're saying?
You know what? No, not at all. But at the end of the day, you know what? It's teamwork. So all of us together, unified, found success. So we're really happy, and you know, Dwayne's Dwayne. You know, having the best player ever in my mind coming out of our country.
Absolutely.
Playing for us.
Group effort. So let's talk about D-Row for a second. Of course, he comes out of retirement, makes his arena debut, playing for the national team in that game against Brazil. Fairy tale ending. I mean, what a Cinderella story. 4 goals overall. As you mentioned, the golden goal as well. Just talk about his progression as you watched him throughout that game. He looked a little frustrated at times in the first half, I thought, but he really got his legs as the game went along. And just talk about his progression throughout the game from what you saw.
Well, it's the first time for him in a game like that for arena soccer, and then I understand we had probably about 10 new players as well. So everyone, we were training, and the guys were just trying to get an understanding for each other. And in the session, it's one way, but once you get in the game, that atmosphere, it changes. So, you know, Dwayne, you know, was more ball to feet. They were playing the ball into space, and then first 2 quarters, you saw it. You know, it took a little time for them to adjust, and all of a sudden, as the momentum of the game was changing, he understood positioning, and right place, right time. He's a goal scorer, you know, and scored his first one, and the confidence just started building. And then all of a sudden, you saw the whole team, energy change as well when
100%.
he got into the game, and they played well. They played well, and for our second game ever, you know, we're excited of where this game is going from top to bottom.
Let's talk about, I mean, you mentioned the energy that Dwayne brought to the team, but there were a lot of regulars missing from the national team for that game due to MASL playoff commitments. In their place, stepped in, I believe it was at least 10 APL guys that stepped into the lineup and obviously performed admirably. Just talk about that and the progression that you've seen from the guys from playing in the APL in a short period of time, because really it's only been a few months.
That's right. You know, and that was the whole structure of the pyramid of play when we build the YAPL to the APL to the pro team that's coming in December and then the national program. It is critical when you're building a system like that it's all put in place, and the APL has definitely proven to be successful. Why is we found players from the first game to now they're in the playoffs that the adjustment is wonderful. They understand the game, they understand the boards, they're getting better and better week after week. So having those players like Matthew Rios to come in and step in and do what he achieved was wonderful.
He scored a beautiful goal, didn't he, Rios? Absolutely gorgeous goal, too.
Right. And the same thing goes for Adrian Can, scored a wonderful goal. Anthony Osorio, those players playing in the APL has definitely helped him. Adrian Becic, wonderful goalkeeper. Distribution out of the back was good. And the goals were not, his fault. It's a lot of goals scored, but it's just defensive responsibilities that we have to work on, which we will. And we're very excited to see that the team played well, and APL has definitely been a huge factor in that.
Yeah, and as even Hector Marinero mentioned after the game, who was coaching that game for Team Canada, Hector mentioned after the game he was so happy with the performance, but obviously still a ways to go. Allowing 9 goals, not something he wants to always see. For the game coming up against the United States, will more MASL regulars be back in the lineup? We know Dwayne's going to be in the lineup, but will they have more guys from the MASL back in the lineup for that game?
Yeah, the last game against Brazil, we were missing, obviously, Ian Bennett, who's the second leading goal scorer in the All-MASL. He's been one of the top players in the MASL for many years. Josh Lemos, which is probably one of the best keepers in the MASL and probably in the world. So having your top goal scorer and your best keeper not there made a big difference. But obviously, to get those players back now against U.S., U.S. is a dominant team in this game, the arena game. They have 15 U.S. teams with a lot of players to choose from. So we're excited to get the MASL guys back. But at the same time, we want to see our players here. You'll see some probably new faces to give them a chance because we're preparing for the World Cup in Mexico this coming October. So to see some new faces is very important too.
Right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, actually, we'll start off really quick talking about the American squad and what exactly you are expecting from them. So, Phil, stick around with us. More Inside the APL coming back in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to Inside the APL, and I continue to be joined by Canadian Arena National Team General Manager Phil Ionati. Phil, just continuing with one more question about the Canada-USA game. There's actually 2. There's a game on May 5th, which is taking place the day before in Michigan, and then on the 6th, of course, is the return match at the Hershey Center. You know the American team very well. What can we expect from the world champions, actually, as they are in arena soccer? What can we expect from the Americans?
Oh, these guys are going to be extremely organized. Their coach played in MISL and NPSL, so we're going to be seeing players that are fit. They're coming off the season in the MASL. Majority of the players will be coming from there. So we have to make sure that we're ready in every aspect of our fitness, of our discipline on the defensive end. So it should be an exciting game, home and away. We were talking about doing this for a while, and it all came together. We're really excited to see where our boys are going to go against these guys here and see what kind of level we're at. Obviously Brazil, Mexico with some good results on our end. This is a really good, strong test for our organization. And the game on May 6th at the Hershey Center is, as we mentioned, a doubleheader. It's not just going to be Canada versus USA. Following that will be the APL Championship, which I know you're obviously really excited about. And it's a chance fans come, they buy 1 ticket, and they get to stay for 2 amazing games, don't they? Yeah, you know what? That was part of the plan of when we were putting this together, and obviously after that, the winner of the APL will be looking to play against the MASL 2 champions as well in the future. So we really want to strengthen our relationship with arena soccer in the U.S. and right across North America, and give every player an opportunity to be seen. It helps us as a national association to see what kind of players come into play. So having this doubleheader, 3 o'clock Canada versus US, and then at 6:30 the APL. A lot of games going on. As you know, we're in the playoffs right now, Alex. So the games are intense week after week.
So this is the first season for the APL. You stole my thunder there. Yes, the playoffs just got underway. Semifinals are going this coming weekend coming up. Just in general, Phil, how satisfied are you with the first season of the APL and the way things have gone?
Ecstatic. Having the amount of player talent pool in our fingertips is exciting. What we're really going to do in the next 5 years is we're building a strategy to make sure we build the APL in every province. Why? Because we know there's talent out there, Alex. Obviously, majority of the teams are here in Ontario, but we have to build it. But you got the likes of Adrian Can and Osorio, Matthew Rios. These guys play with the futsal national team as well. So we have a lot of talent week in, week out. The parity is right there between all the teams from bottom to top. Anybody could beat anyone on a given day, and that's what's exciting. So we don't know who's going to be champion this first year, so it's going to be right to the end, and looking forward to the playoffs to see who's going to get in the finals and play that day at the Hershey Center.
I was going to say, when you guys came up with the idea for the APL at the beginning. I mean, that's one thing we've seen throughout the season. Even the last place team really, I mean, they were super competitive. I think Italy finished out of the playoffs this year, but Italy knocked off first place Croatia at one point. There was parity this year. I mean, there were a few blowouts earlier in the season that really tapered down as things went along. Overall, the competitiveness, I think it was exactly where you wanted it to be from top to bottom, wasn't it?
Yeah, the competition level was fantastic. What we're proud of and what we've seen over the past, say, 5 months is the fact that when the guys were playing at the beginning, the Ukrainians and the Serbian teams as well, that they didn't understand the boards, how to utilize the boards. The past 2-3 weeks, it's been fantastic. They understand the game much better from the first few weeks, and now the ability to be in the right place, right time, back posts. They really understand the set plays, the defensive plays, how to utilize their keepers. So that's arena soccer, and at every second there's an opportunity. So we're really happy of where all the teams have come from the past 5 months.
And really quick, these APL guys are not just vying for a spot in the national team, they're also hoping to make Toronto's new MASL franchise launching next fall, the Toronto Rage. Phil, just quickly talk about that because it's an exciting opportunity. We've got about 30 seconds, buddy.
Well, the MASL, again, it's part of the whole pyramid of play of what we're trying to build here, and it's exciting because you got 15 U.S. teams, 3 Mexican teams. You're playing international competition. We're going to be playing the likes of a Baltimore Blast, who are last year's champions. We're going to probably be in their conference. So it's good for the guys and the youth. Now they have a pathway to go from a YAPL to an APL semi-pro league to the professional team to the national program. So within a year, Alex, we've come so far. Looking for the future. It's bright.
Awesome. Looking forward to the friendlies and the APL championship, my friend. Phil, thank you so much for joining us, buddy. We'll see you the next time.
Thanks, Alex.
Okay, more Inside the APL coming up in just a moment.
Rosario with a lightning bolt. Not gonna stop that one. Goal! Goal!
Hey folks, welcome back to Inside the APL. The quarterfinals kicked off on Sunday, and Ukraine had gotten there by the slimmest of margins. Now the club had to beat the South Americans on the very last day of the regular season just to qualify, and they did just that, dropping the shorthanded squad by a 12-0 count. Now it can't be overstated just how important momentum is when you're heading into the playoffs, and the Ukrainians continued to ride that wave against the Serbians in the quarters. For much of the season, Ukraine was battling just to stay out of the basement, but they have looked good lately. Stanislav Katana gets things started. One of the plays of the week, sweet moves. Ukraine up 1-0 at halftime. This was a really low-scoring game, actually. Second half, Serbs hit back. Zoran Pesic tattoos the shot past Denis Rilski, and they were all knotted up at 1 apiece. Now with just 6 minutes left, the Serbs think they just may have the winner. Jordi Josic puts it upstairs right there, and the Reds lead 2-1 late in the contest, but in the dying moments. Bogdan Olichkov through the crease here. He gets chopped down by Nemanja Padenkovic. No doubt about that call. Penalty kick for Ukraine. Roman Sakno puts it home with authority. All tied at 2 apiece. Extra time solved nothing. Off to penalties. Arthur Berlin gets it started by scoring for Ukraine. At the other end, Denis Rilski, huge stop on Vukomanovic. It would actually all come down to Serbia having to score here. Rilski says, no way. Denis playing the hero for Ukraine. They pull out the upset, take down the Serbs, 3-2 the final. They advance to the playoff semifinals. Okay, another quarterfinal featuring Caribbean versus South America. Jesse Oliver draws first blood for the Stars as he picks the corner past Jamie Harrison. 1-0 yellows. And then nice use of the boards here. Sage Reed lying in wait out front. He pounds it home. 2-0 for the Stars. Evan James going inside out for the South Americans, though, and he cuts the deficit to 2-1. Reed going back to work, though. He's getting serious consideration, actually, for the Canadian national team. You can see why. So smooth. 3-1 for the Caribbean. Second half of play, South America again cutting into the deficit. It's Evan James taking one for the team. Right off the nose and into the net. James, ouch, getting it done the hard way. Caribbean hits right back, though. It's a Shaq attack. Shaq Agard makes it 4-2 for the Stars. And this play is all Reed. Great work along the boards. He will get it over to Rohan Ricketts, and they stretch their advantage to 3 goals. Now, the boys in blue never say die, though. James with one of the plays of the week, slicing and dicing the Stars for another tally. 5-3 Caribbean. Then the big man, 6'7", Mark Jankovic. You think he's hard to cover or what? Makes it 5-4. Reed was just unstoppable, though. Too much speed, too much strength, too much skill. Yet another goal. Dying seconds now. South America still scratching and clawing, though. Alvaro Yax gets one back for the Blues. Not enough on this day, though. So much offensive talent on this Caribbean side. They advance to the semifinals with an 8-5 win over the South Americans. So this is how it all shakes out. The semifinals taking place Sunday, April 29th. Semi number 1 features the team that finished first overall, Toronto, Croatia, against the Ukrainian squad. And the second semi, this will be a dandy, Portugal against the Caribbean Stars. That's at 1:30. Canland Sportsplex. All leads up to this. Team USA versus Canada arena soccer doubleheader on Sunday, May 6th. The second game, the follow-up, the APL Championship. Kickoff for that will be at 6:30 p.m. Pay for 1 ticket, you get both games. And remember to head to the APL website at aplsoccer.ca for all the latest regarding Team Canada, regarding the APL, and up-to-date standing scores and statistics. The plays of the week before we go. Number 5, Portugal's Sean Couto turning Serbia inside out before picking the corner. Number 4, Shaq Agard moving and shaking against the South Americans and blasting it home in the quarterfinal encounter. Number 3, same game. Evan James shakes off his man and slides it past Sebastian Zabalos for the sweet score. Number 2, Ukraine's Stanislav Katana first uses the boards and then banks it off the post. Part of Ukraine's dramatic quarterfinal win to advance. Number 1, Serbia against Portugal. Miroslav Jovanovic with a great solo effort here. Goes through half the team. Ends up laying it back for Filip Vlasic, who's got a nice move right there as well. Gorgeous goal. And that is our APL play of the week.
And we're all out of time for this week. Remember, though, May 6th, a doubleheader you're not going to want to miss. Canada versus the United States, followed by the APL final at the Hershey Center in Mississauga. Now, to find out more about the big matches and to keep up to date with the Arena Premier League, head to casasoccer.ca. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.